In Colorado, blacks make up 4% of the population, but they make up 100% of death row. Yep, 100% of death row. Now let's get right to the facts. I'll tell you the story after the facts. So the facts are the most telling part here. So there are 3 people on death row in Colorado, and they're all black men. I'm in a state that only has 4.3% African Americans. 100% of the death row is African American. All 3 are men. They're all from the same county, out of 64 counties in the state of Colorado. All the men committed crimes while they were under the age of 21, right? And on top of that, there's not very clear statutory standards to distinguish between when a case becomes life in prison to death penalty. And that is why there's a group of lawyers fighting tooth and nail to make sure that one of the individuals who's up to die on death row in the coming days does not die. Right? Now, with that being said, a background here. Just a couple weeks ago, Colorado was close to becoming the 19th state to abolish the death penalty altogether. The vote failed after the Democratic governor, voiced opposition and suggested a possible veto. A few months later, Colorado's death penalty is still firmly in place, and the state is poised to complete the death of Nathaniel Dunlap. Right? And Nathaniel Dunlap committed a horrific crime and murdered several people at Chuck E. Cheese. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve death. I mean, there's people out there who does. I think life in prison is fine, and like the Bible says, an eye for an eye is not the way to go. Either way, what's apparent here is, and what sort of blows my mind, is there's a couple of issues underlying this whole story about Nathaniel Dunlap and why he's going to death. One, the state doesn't the state attorney or the person that prosecutes these individuals. There hasn't been a very clear. There hasn't been a clear delineation of why they went for death. There's no statutory requirements. There's no standard that determines whether somebody gets a death penalty or whether somebody gets life. And if there's only 3 people on death row, the first question that you must ask yourself is, why did the state attorney decide that these 3 black men deserved the capital punishment over all the other individuals that are in the prison population? Right? There's just so many questions here that should cause pause for you. One, they're all from the same county. 2, this all happened when these are crimes of individuals that were under the age of 21 rather, where there is truly a chance of rehabilitation. Well, the problem the whole problem here with and this is not only in Colorado, I think this is a broader commentary. I don't understand why they call it the correction system when they don't correct anybody, or the rehabilitation system when nobody's rehabilitated. You're not correcting anybody or rehabilitating them. You're actually making their lives You're making their lives worse, because when they get out of prison, there's no pathway back to redemption. Either way, in Colorado, there are some serious questions about how they dole out the death penalty. We're going to get to the bottom of this. The NAACP's on it. Civil rights groups are on it, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. We'll tell you more details when we get more details on this particular story.